Hari Om. Today I'm going to speak on a very important subject of mind, and I'm going to tell you a few stories. Yoga stories, of course, and how yoga looks at the experience of mind and how to control the mind and why to control the mind. Mind is made up of 5 basic elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. So mind is physical. It has a physical existence. And to support this, there's one very interesting experiment given in Upanishads. A king who asked his master that what is mind made up of? And the guru told the king that start fasting from tomorrow. The king was asked not to eat anything. First couple of days he was okay. After that he started feeling weak. His physical energy was going down. And then after a few more days, his thinking also reducing. He was not able to think very clearly. His mind was also slowing down. This experiment indicates that the mind also takes its energy from the earth, water, fire, air and space, the food that we eat, which is made up of these 5 elements. But this mind also is said to be a mirror of the consciousness, Atma, the soul, the spirit, the higher unconditioned form of consciousness. But this mind is very important for human existence. Mind is who I am. And in yoga it's said that mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. It is the mind that is the source of suffering and pain. The pain and suffering, where do we experience? We experience it in the mind. All the emotions we experience in the mind. All the happiness and sadness also we experience in the mind. Like the negative emotions are there, positive emotions are also experienced in mind. The freedom, the enlightenment, the self-realization that the yoga talks about is also the result of mind. So mind has 2 extremes: suffering, pain, bliss, freedom, enlightenment. The question is, why the mind experiences pain? In yoga they narrate a very beautiful metaphor. The mind is like a monkey. The monkey keeps jumping from one tree to another tree to another tree, or one branch to another branch, sometimes upside down, sometimes going to the top, sometimes coming down. Like that, mind also has thoughts, crazy thoughts. One time the mind is here on earth, the second moment the mind is on the moon, third moment the mind is in the home, fourth moment the mind is in the office, fifth moment the mind is in the future, sixth moment the mind is in the past. The mind just keeps moving continuously. So it's like monkey. But this monkey of the mind is not a monkey like that we find in the forest. But this monkey mind is under the influence of alcohol, and it has lost touch with the reality. It's going crazy. We have no control. It's like mind has taken a lot of alcohol and lost control. Not only the mind is under the influence of alcohol, but this monkey of the mind is being bitten by the scorpion, so it's in pain. So this monkey mind, who is drunken, lot of alcohol, also is bitten by a scorpion, so it's experiencing pain. And not only that it's experiencing pain, but it's possessed by demon. So it's continuously thinking negative. There is continuously negative emotions that it's experiencing. So if we want to get rid of this pain and suffering, we need to get rid of this demon. We need to get rid of this poison of the scorpion. And we need to get rid of this intoxicant. Now the question is, why this intoxicant and this poison and this demon has entered into the mind? Yoga says it's because of the conditionings that we have gone through in our life, this life and maybe previous lives. And how are these conditionings? These conditionings or sanskar, they are on our mind as a result of every action, every experience, every event that is happening around. The stories. A very nice story of camels. There was a caravan of camels, and it belonged to a group of people in the desert. And they were taking these camels, and the camels used to carry weight on their back. One day there was a storm, sandstorm, and it was a very strong sandstorm. And when the sandstorm finished, some luggage was lost. So this group of people and the camels, they lost a couple of bags that they had on the back of one of the camels. They decided that they'll stay there for that night. So they put up their little tents and took out the pegs and also put the pegs into the, hammered the pegs into the sand. But because one bag was lost, one peg was missing. They tied all the camels. The rope around the neck of the camel was tied to the peg. But there was one camel who didn't have the peg. So these people, when they tied all the camels sat down, but this camel which did not have the peg just refused to sit down. They tried to pull him, they tried to stand on his back. Many more people poked his legs in an attempt to make him sit down. But the camel just refused to sit down. An old man came. He was from the same group of people, and he said to this guy, he says, "No, you don't have to try so hard. It's very easy to make the camel sit down." What did he do? He just took the rope in his hand and just rotated that rope as if there is a peg. There was no peg, but he just moved his hand as if there is a peg. And to the surprise of everyone, the camel sat down immediately. Conditioning of the mind is like that. The night passed quietly. In the morning, everyone got up and they untied all the camels. Everyone stood up. Again, the same camel refused to stand up. People couldn't understand. They gave him water, they again poked him, they pushed him, they tried to pull his neck, everything. Nothing worked. He would not stand. Again, the old man came to the rescue and he said, "My dear friends, you're forgetting what I told you last night." Saying so, he took the string in his hand and untied the string around an imaginary peg. Immediately, the camel stood up. This is the conditioning, sanskar. This is how we have conditioned our mind. Another very nice story of monkeys, how the conditionings are there in our mind. Like it's there in the animals. A group of researchers, they set up a room, and in that room, on the roof, in the center of the room, they hanged a bunch of banana, and from the floor to the banana there was a very small ladder. Only one monkey can climb at a time. Then there was another interesting arrangement. If a monkey pulls the banana, the rope that was hanging, that the bananas were hanging on to, would also be pulled. And if that rope is pulled, there was a lever on top. And what would happen? The whole room, except the center, would have shower if that banana is pulled. That was the arrangement. And then 3 monkeys were brought from wild, and the monkeys were released free in the room. Now when the monkeys entered the room, they were happy to see the banana. That's what the first thing they noticed, probably the only thing they noticed. And then the first monkey jumped on the ladder, climbed up, pulled the banana. He got the banana. But the other 2 monkeys had a cold shower, cold water spread on their body. And it was an unpleasant feeling. They didn't like it. It happened few times, and all 3 monkeys realized that eating banana is good. But the other 2 monkeys are in trouble because of the third monkey who is trying to pull the bananas. Now see what happened. When any monkey would jump on the ladder, the other 2 monkeys would understand that now they are going to have cold shower, and they didn't want it. So they would pull that monkey down. And if the monkey complains, they would beat him up. So what happened is no one wanted bananas. All 3 monkeys just sat down there. Because if any monkey try, the other 2 would growl at him. And if he again jumps on the ladder, the other 2 would jump and pull him down and beat him up. So after a couple of hours, the monkeys gave up and they just sat in different corners of the room, and no one would go to the banana. Nothing happened. So next day, the researchers replaced one of the monkeys and brought a new monkey. Now, new monkey had no idea of what is this cold shower and all that. And by that time, the researchers turned off the cold shower. So if any monkey would jump, there would not be any cold shower. It was there only for few times, for a couple of hours. After that, they turned it off. And nothing happened. No monkey tried after that. That was interesting. But now this new monkey came. So of course he didn't know anything. So he jumped on the ladder. The moment he jumped on the ladder, even before he could touch the banana, the other 2 jumped on him, pulled him down, beat him up. The poor monkey, he didn't know why they are doing this to me. Probably the thought would also be like, you guys can eat also, I don't mind, but why you beating me up? But anyway, he learned. What was his learning? His learning was, if I jump on the ladder, the other 2 will beat you up. Again he sat down, looking at the banana, no reaction. Third day, they replaced another old monkey who knew about the cold shower, and brought in another one, fresh monkey, who again had no idea. So now in that room, only one monkey had experienced the cold shower. The other 2 didn't even know about the cold shower. But this time, the new monkey that came, he also jumped on the ladder. And the remaining 2, which included the monkey that came yesterday, who again did not know about shower, he also jumped and beat that new monkey. So the new monkey again was surprised at this, but he realized that If you jump on the ladder to eat bananas, the other two beat you up. The fourth day, the last monkey that had seen the cold shower was also replaced, and a new monkey came in. But the researchers observed that no one is eating the bananas. The conditioning that they had with their experience, it continued. And this is exactly what happens to us. Another research done on the human beings. In the dentist waiting room, few people were sitting. It was a research, it was a study, and it was a arrangement. So these people who were sitting in the dentist clinic, they knew what they are supposed to do as a part of this study. What they were doing was very interesting. After every few seconds, there was a bell that was ringing. Every time the bell would ring, all of them would just stand up for a few seconds and then sit down. That's all they were doing. Because they were told to by the researchers. So they were aware of this study. After some time, the first patient, who was a genuine patient, and the patient, that girl, didn't know about this research. So she genuinely came to meet the dentist and have her dental problems resolved from the dentist. So she didn't know anything. So she just came. When she came, the receptionist gave her the number and she sat down. In few seconds, the bell rang. And then she noticed that everyone stood up. She did not stand up. She was sitting there. It happened a couple of times. She did not stand up. But then she realized that, oh, everyone is standing up. Maybe she tried to ask. She tried to ask a person, hey, why are you standing up? But these people were told not to say anything. So these participants were quiet. No one answered her anything. What happened is third time when the bell rang, the girl stood up on her own. And after that, every bell, she was standing up with them. She didn't know why they're standing. They didn't tell her, but she started following what they're doing. Then after a while, one by one, all these people who were part of the study, they left. As if they're going and meeting the dentist. But they left. So the girl was all alone in that clinic with the receptionist. What do you think she did when the bell rang? Yes, she stood up. That's the habit. That's how the habits are formed. Then a new person came in. And again, he protested, why are you standing up? But the girl said, I don't know what's happening. And he also started standing up with her. This is how the habits get into us. And these conditionings is what cause this intoxication, this pain, and this fear of the demon. So the mind suffers because of these conditionings. The whole idea of yoga is to get rid of these conditionings so that we can experience a positive state of our mind, a positive, blissful, happy state of our mind. The way to do it, how to get rid of these conditionings, because these conditionings we learn through the sensory organs. I see, I hear, I feel, I touch, I perceive through these sensory organs. And that is how these conditionings become habits. Yoga says that if you want to control your mind and make it positive, you need to get rid of these conditionings. The only way to get rid of these conditionings is control the sensory organs. I'm going to tell you another story. The sensory organs, how to control them and why to control them. It's a very nice story. A young boy was walking with his father, walking in the market, and they saw 5 policemen had caught a criminal, and they had put the cuffs and they were dragging him to the police station. The young boy asked his father, "Daddy, who is this man and why is being dragged by the policeman? Why can't he be free?" His father replied to him, he said, "Look, my dear son, that man is a criminal and he's a thief and he's being nabbed by this policeman and they're taking him to the prison. So he's lost his freedom now." The young boy remembered, "Thank you, Daddy." Some distance they walked. And then there were 5 policemen again. And there was a man inside. Like they were surrounding this man. The young boy who learned it from his daddy said, "Daddy, look, another thief." His daddy said, "Shh, be quiet. He's not a thief. He's a king." The young boy was confused. He said, "Daddy, that man surrounded by 5 policemen, you said he's a thief. Now this man is also surrounded by 5 policemen. But why are you calling him king?" The daddy said, the first person was controlled by the 5 policemen. And the second person controls 5 policemen. There's a big difference. The 5 policemen metaphor, use it as 5 sensory organs. The one who is imprisoned by the 5 sensory organs ends up in suffering. He loses his freedom. And the one who controls the 5 sensory organs becomes the master. And this is the path of yoga to make your mind positive and happy. The question is how to gain control over these 5 sensory organs. The whole path of yoga is there. Yamas, niyamas, all this social discipline, self-discipline, then asanas, then pranayam, then pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, that is meditation. All these steps are for controlling the mind and making it positive. But then it's not very easy process. These 5 sensory organs are very tricky to handle. I cannot suddenly start tomorrow morning and say, I'm going to control my sensory organs completely from today. It probably will result in suppression. If you express, you are in trouble. Because then habits are formed and addictions are formed and the emotional control is lost and the mental control is lost. And overall control of our life is lost. And if you suppress it, temporarily you may gain control, but then the mind rebels. The sensory organs rebel. When I want to control my sweet, I decide from tomorrow I'm not going to eat any sweet. 7 days I do it, 8 days I do it, 15 days I do it, and then one fine day, I just say enough, and I see that nice sweet shop, and I just go inside and eat the sweets that I probably would not have eaten in the last 15 days. This is how the mind rebels. So there is a way that is given in yoga, how to slowly adapt to this yoga lifestyle. A beautiful story. There was a king, and that king was gifted 5 beautiful horses by his friend. They were white horses, but they were wild horses, very strong, really majestic. And the king wanted to ride them. But because they were wild horses, they were untrained. So king ordered his horse trainers to train the horses for him. Surprise that the horse trainers could not train them. It's very difficult for them to even go close and the horses would kick. Horses would run around, run away, and it was not possible. The king felt sad. He invited some other horse trainers. Everyone failed. King was really sad, but he desperately wanted to ride these horses. So he announced in the kingdom that anyone who will train these horses, he will give them 10,000 gold coins. Many people came, failed. King had almost given up hopes. But one day, an old man came. And the old man promised the king that I will certainly train your horses, but I have a condition. I will take the horses with me, and after 5 months, I will return with the trained horses. If you accept it, and in those 5 months, I don't want anyone to come and see what I am doing. King agreed. King said, I am perfectly fine with this condition. You can take the horses. So the wild horses were transported to the farm of this old man, and then everyone left. King was waiting 1 month, 2 months, 4 months, 5 months. The man came back, and to the surprise of the king, the old man had trained the horses perfectly. He was riding on the first horse, and the rest 4 horses were following in one line. They were obeying his command. They were doing exactly what he was telling them. King was very impressed. King congratulated that man, gave him 10,000 gold coins, added few thousand more, and humbly asked that man, how did you do it, old man? Please tell me. The old man said, it was not difficult, my dear king. I told you 5 months. The secret was in that time period. When I took the horses, I released them free in my farm, which had a fence, which had a border. So they had freedom, but there was boundary. Then I entered that boundary. The horses didn't like it in the beginning, but they got used to my presence because I was harmless. Every day I was going a little close to them. Initially they used to complain, but they were fine because I was just trying to be friends with them. I brought them little grass. I tried to be friend with them slowly, slowly, slowly. One day, I put a saddle on one of the horses. He didn't like it, but he got used to it because it didn't harm him. Like this, I became friend with every horse, and then I started controlling them. This is exactly how we should look at our sensory organs. Instead of suppressing a sensory organ, we should become friend with the sensory organ. Understand it, and very slowly, one by one step at a time, control. Smoking 10 cigarettes. Don't suddenly go down to 0. Slow down. Very slow, step-by-step approach. Go down to 9. Continue for a few days. The sensory organ will get used to it. Go down to 8. Continue for some days. So it's very important how we try and change our habits to become friends with sensory organs and go step by step. So I hope this helps you understand how to control the mind and make it experience positivity slowly. So I'm going to stop here. Hari Om.